I just wanted to come to you and just be standing on business, if y'all know what I mean. Back when I was in middle school, I used to think that my teachers were all ops, always yapping like they knew what they were talking about, and I had such an attitude about it. But once I got to high school, it just hits different, if y'all know what I mean. I realized that all my teachers, they were just looking out for me. I wish I would have understood that earlier, but it's just, I wasn't old enough yet. So, if you want to be a Sigma like me, Brock Lee, make sure you listen to your teachers, man. They got your backs. And that's facts.
Hello, 8th graders. This is Mr. Gilchrist. I am coming to you today. We're starting a new character ed section, and this is about respecting adults and authority figures. A lot of times growing up, it can be really challenging and hard to respect adults, especially when you get frustrated or you're feeling some sort of way. So I wanted to come to you today to kind of give you a few things to try to help you along that journey as you make your way toward high school. A lot of times when I talk to kids, I try to help them understand that even though you may be frustrated with some adults, some teachers that you might have, that's a completely normal thing. You can be upset with them, but you still have to respect them. You still have to do what they say because they're the teacher. They're the ones that have the information for you. The other piece to this is that you are getting close to high school. And when you get to high school, it can be very challenging. If you're not prepared with the knowledge that we get you here at Taft, it might be challenging for you in high school, and it will be challenging for you in high school. I've seen it go both ways with kids. I've seen some kids who get really frustrated with teachers, and then they kind of shut down and get in their feelings, and they don't do the work. They don't try to work through whatever frustration they might have with said teacher, and then they get up to high school and they kind of flounder. They struggle. So it is such an important thing. The other thing that I've seen is students that do get frustrated with teachers, but they are able to work through that, and they're able to figure out the piece that they're frustrated about, work through it, and get back to work, and then they're able to get access to the information that they need. The reality is that teachers have something that you need, which is that knowledge. The knowledge to prepare you for that next level. For right now, it's going to be high school next year, but that's going to change as years go on. And authority figures not only have knowledge, it's not just teachers, but out in the real world, you'll have a boss someday, and that boss might have something that you need to have success in your future. So it's really important to learn this skill of respecting adults or authority figures so that you can have success for yourself, really. So I just wanted to highlight a few things here. On the screen, I have the expectations that we have here at Taft for speaking to an adult. And it's really important to kind of look through these. There are posters kind of everywhere in the school, so I would like you to take a peek at them throughout the day, today, and throughout the week this week, and really try to understand why we have these expectations and why it will help you benefit you as a student to follow these expectations. I wanted to key in on a couple, though. The first I wanted to key in on is the active listening here. Active listening on that last one is say okay and do what is asked. So this is a tough one for kids because kids your age, they want a voice, and ultimately you guys do have a voice. A lot of times, though, the issue is that kids take that voice when they shouldn't, or they use that voice when they shouldn't. An example of this might be a teacher trying to have a student do some sort of assignment or something in the classroom. The student might not understand it. The student might be frustrated for whatever reason. And so they start using that voice and they start to explain it right away. And the reality is that's not a good time to do it because it oftentimes looks like and sometimes turns toward disrespect, and it looks a lot like arguing rather than just having that voice. So I tell kids this is just say, okay, do what's asked, and then you go back later. And that goes back down to our being responsible. We have this 30-minute rule in place here. So you might get upset with a teacher, and then that's when you start to try to explain your side of the things, and you want to make sure that your voice is heard and all this, and then it ends up looking like disrespect, and then students struggle, they might get sent down to the office, or if not, they might just have a little bit of a break in that relationship between student and teacher. Either way, it's not a good situation. So this rule is actually taken from the sports world. Excuse me. When I was, this is about 7 years ago, my daughter was playing softball. Maybe not 7 years ago, maybe like 4 years ago. My daughter was playing softball, and I was helping to coach, and she was a pitcher. And she was doing a nice job. In this particular game, another kid was pitching or had started on the mound, and she was doing okay, but then she started to struggle. The head coach on our team, which I was just an assistant coach at the time, but the head coach pulled her out and decided to put my daughter in. Well, the dad of the girl that was getting pulled was really upset about it because it was his daughter and he felt like she shouldn't have been pulled. And he came around behind the dugout and started yelling at all of us. And I turned around and I looked up, and the coach put his hands out and said, "You got 24 hours." And he made the guy stop talking completely. The dad understood. He stopped talking and he walked away. And that rule, the 24-hour rule, is that if you're upset with a coach or an umpire, referee that is making some sort of call that you think is wrong, you can't talk to them for 24 hours after that game. The reason for this is to get those emotions calmed down and cooled off so that if there is an issue, if there is something that needs to be brought up, you can talk to whoever it is respectfully and have a conversation rather than being in the heat of the moment. When you're in the heat of the moment, it's very hard to say the right things. It's very hard to make good choices. So that's why we talk about this. If you argue or talk back to the teacher right in the moment, it's generally not going to go well. So that's why we talk about the 30-minute rule. If you're frustrated, sometimes students talk to me about they feel like a teacher disrespected them, which I totally understand. So if that kind of situation happened, what I tell the student is to say okay with whatever the adult had asked or whatever the teacher had asked, and then go back to them at the end of the class period, or maybe even the next class period, maybe even the next day, and talk to them respectfully. And teachers will have that conversation with you. That's an important piece to kind of working through what's actually happening in the situations that you go through every day. So when you go and you talk to them, that conversation might sound like, you know what, I felt really disrespected when you did this. And then you can ask, why did you do that? What can I do better too? And you can have that conversation, repair that relationship, and also get back to being a student, right? And being able to access that information that you need. And it also puts the teacher back in charge and allows them to teach the information that they need to teach you. So those are the two things that I really wanted to highlight on this. But respecting authority, respecting adults is super important. It is a skill that you have to have in our society. If you don't, the individuals in our society that have troubles respecting authority figures end up struggling in life with various reasons. But a lot of times it's as simple as not being able to hold on to a job. If you're not able to hold on to a job and you bounce around from job to job to job, then you end up not making as much money. So something as simple as that, and it could be something as complicated as, having issues with the law. And we don't want, and you don't want that for your future. You want good things for your future. So if you look at authority figures and working with adults, this is really important that you kind of learn this now and keep on practicing this skill. So this week, look over this chart in the various rooms that you're in, and kind of think about how you do and reflect on how you do when we talk about working with adults and authority figures. Thanks, Tigers, and have a great day.